My wife got me a brand new rangefinder for Christmas, and I'm going to be making a pouch for it in this video. So here is the pouch I made um, for my hunting pack for the rangefinder. So if that's something that interests you, stick around. I'll show you how I made it. So this and pretty much all the materials I said from some straps, um, snaps rather. Um, I got this. I'm cutting the materials out of an old hunting pack that I used to have that just wasn't a very good pack, but the materials are fine and it just wasn't comfortable to carry around. Um, anyway, just right now I took some measurements of the rangefinder and I added a little bit of space. And I'm cutting out the pieces that I'm going to be making the little pouch out of. And it's going to be half that woodland camo pattern and kind of somewhere between an OD green and a desert tan. Not really sure what that color is, but that's what I'm doing here. Just doing some layout, cutting the pieces, and then right here, from that first shot, I don't know if you saw or was obvious or not, but it's molly webbing on the hip belts on my current hunting pack. So what I'm doing here is I'm just taping off the section that's going to be the back of this pouch. That way I can do the layout for the straps that you weave through for the molly webbing. So that's all I'm doing here is just drawing some lines, figuring out where the straps are going to go, so I can weave that through for my hunting pack. Once I get that part figured out, I'm just folding the ends of the strap over and sewing it so um, that way it doesn't come apart in use. At least that's my goal. I haven't actually used it yet in the field, but hopefully it won't come apart. So that's all I'm doing here is all those straps. I'm just sewing the ends. I folded them over and sewing the ends, and then this is just a steel punch, and what I'm doing is that the webbing for those straps is nylon. So what I just do is heat up that punch with a little propane torch and then melt a hole. And then this is my arbor press and um, putting the snaps on uh, before I sew the straps on. I just figured it would be easier this way. Um, and those are just regular snap tools that I cut apart and then cut them down to fit the arbor brace, and I just got a little set screw to hold those tools in. And then you can see I got snaps on my straps there. And then the next thing I'm doing here is this is just regular double-sided tape. I know they have tape specifically for fabrics that I think it just washes away when you put it in the washing machine. I think it's called basting tape or something like that. That's not what this is. This is just regular double-sided tape, and I'm going to be sewing that over the tape, and so I don't really care what it looks like under my sewing, but that's just to hold those straps in place until I can get them sewn on. Is all I'm using it for. Um, I don't know if needles are better or make more sense, but this seems easy to me, so that's what I'm doing this. And I'm definitely a novice sewer, and which maybe is pretty apparent, looking at this pouch and stuff. But it's fun to me to make these sort of things and to modify things, and so I enjoy this kind of process. And I'm new to sewing, and so that's one of the reasons for this project is just to get better at sewing and to start making my own gear, and because I enjoy doing that sort of stuff. Anyway, so I'm just sewing these straps down and then calling it good. Once I got that sewed up, I was just test fitting that my straps were going to work with the MOLLE webbing. And my battery died when I was recording that, but it worked. So now I'm just getting rid of the tape. Don't need that anymore. And then I'm going to cut some foam in the liner part of this backpack because I wanted to have a liner for this pouch. Make it a little nicer for that rangefinder. And now, same thing, putting the tape on this, tape in this little bit of foam between the liner and the outer material. And then here I'm just sewing those pieces together, the liner, the outer material, and that foam, that I don't know, maybe 3/16 thick. I don't think it was 1/4 inch thick. It was pretty thin foam. Once I got those pieces sewn together, then I'm just trimming the excess material here. And then I'm going to start assembling. So, not really easy to tell here, but I was having a bear of a time trying to get all this fabric and foam underneath the presser foot, and it wasn't coming out straight, and I wasn't liking how this was turning out. So what I decided to do was to take all that back apart and get rid of the foam. So back again here, I'm sewing the liner and the outer material together, minus the foam now. And it looks like it's thick enough. It's going to cushion it enough to me. I like the look of this a lot better than what I had going on with the foam. both, this is the inside and the outside pieces of that little pouch. Same thing on both of those. And then the next thing I do is basically the parts of the pouch that are going to be opened, I just fold over those edges, kind of roll it over to make a nice seam. One that won't fray, and two that looks nice. Um, so that's what I'm doing here, is just rolling over to making that seam. And then once I get the seams done, then I'm back to reassembling my pouch again for the second time. Now, as I'm going through this, I want to have the outside to the, facing in, because you sew a pouch like this, you sew it inside out and then flip it around. And it's about here where I realized that I got one of the sides outside in and the other side inside out. So right here I realized, oh man, I just assembled this wrong, so now we got to take it back apart again. So that's what I did. So now I got the outsides both facing in, so reassembling for the third time now. And hopefully this will be the last. So I just do the outer, there's the outer sides of the pouch, and then the middle section last, and then once I get all that stuff sewed together, then I'll flip it back right side out, and then the last thing to do is add the snap. There we go, all sewn up. So what I'm doing here is just melting all the frayed ends, cutting it, trimming it, making everything nice. And then there's the pouch, test fitting the rangefinder there, seems to fit just fine. And then I got to put the snap on. And the snap was the exact same process as I did for those traps. So just figuring out where I want to put that snap. And then I melted it same way to the other straps, and then I'm just using the arbor press. And you definitely don't need an arbor press to put snaps on. You can buy snaps with the tools and just hammer them on. But usually if I use the tool with the hammer, I hammer them on crooked, and so I'm using the arbor press. And then here I'm just threading those straps on and trying out the new pouch. So pretty pleased, especially after taking it apart and putting it back together 3 times, how it turned out. There we go, new pouch for the rangefinder. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe and like. Have a good day.